Well, we brought you President Trump's comments earlier this hour to the Latino Coalition group in Washington, in which he made some remarks about immigration, blaming Democrats for not acting on the so-called Dreamers. Tennessee Republican Congressman Diane Black joins us now from Capitol Hill with more on what might happen with DACA. The president says the Democrats are dragging their feet, right? What's really happening there in Washington on this DACA fix? Anything going to get done?
Well, the president has put out his plan. He's been very clear about America First and about what we do in the DACA situation, where these young people were brought to this country not by their will, but by their parents' will illegally. And we want to be sure that we do the kinds of things we need to do. And those have been out there, all of the pieces of this in making sure that immigration is done the right way in our country.
I happened to be in Washington the last time we had that immigration debate. It was on the Senate side, as you know, not on your side of the Capitol.
Yes.
And there were those 4 amendments put forward. The bipartisan bill and the Grassley amendment were the 2 taken most seriously. The bipartisan side of it, the one that had some more support, was killed by the White House, didn't meet all the standards the president had set. And then the Grassley bill also failed, got the fewest votes, but that is not as conservative as what your guys are considering, is it? So I guess I'm getting at, if that didn't get done, how are you going to get something done now?
I think sometimes timelines and pushing on the timelines are really what make a difference to bring people to the table. But I can tell you in the House, we feel very strongly that you've got to do this in order. You've got to make sure that you're, first of all, protecting our country and securing it, as we have said for years. You've got to make sure the border is secure. You've got to look at chain migration. You've got to look at the visa lottery program.
Right. So you need all 4, sorry to interrupt, but you need all 4, those are the 4 pillars the president's talked about.
They are the 4 pillars.
You need all of those to get the DACA. It can't be, just border security, for example, is what you're saying.
No, it's not, because what will happen is 5, 10 years down the road, if we don't fix those other things, we're going to be back in the same situation. And I don't think that this is a conversation that we need to keep having. We need to make sure that America is first and that we're securing our border. And then we need to take care of those young people that came to this country by their parents bringing them here illegally, not by them coming here illegally.
You mentioned deadlines. I know March 5th came and went because, and the courts kind of made that somewhat irrelevant. But when can we get something done by?
I hope that we'll take this up very soon and get this off of the table, because we have other very important things that we need to do. And and when you let something like this just hang on, it kind of sucks the air out of the room, and we don't get to the other important issues. And there are other very important things that we need to do.
There are one of the ones we keep talking about, of course, all the time, including today. We're so focused on markets and economies, is trade. Now, you don't necessarily have something to do there unless you in Congress were to change the law, but where do you personally come down on this trade debate? Are you with Speaker Ryan and being more targeted and surgical, or more on the president's side?
Well, I believe that the president is someone he always tries to cut the best deal that he can. And I think at the end of the day, we will look at a more targeted approach. We need to be sure that we continue to have those companies that are dealing with this issue here in our country, that they don't get treated unfairly. So, for instance, in my own district, Electrolux, they had a $250 million project that they wanted to continue, and now that's stopped. And we want to be sure that it's targeted to those areas, those bad actors, and yet at the same time not hurt those that we have good relationships with, because economically it can also impact us. It will in Tennessee.
You're right. It is all local. I mean, we're going to talk coming up about this Pennsylvania special election. I'm sure there's a lot of support for the measures there in so-called steel country, but you're not the first Republican to tell us that. You're hearing something different, it sounds like, from your constituents and your business leaders.
Well, we just want to be sure that the businesses that I have in my district and in the state of Tennessee continue to be able to operate as they have in the past, with good jobs. And that's what's important to me, is that we have good jobs in our community, and that people who are working hard get to keep those jobs, and we can expand them.
So what's the best way to do that? I mean, is it to punish one business, help another business, protect some industries that have been hurt over the years, or to take down those barriers and be more in favor of free trade? I mean, what's your, because everybody does have their own local concerns. So if a business comes to you in your district and says, well, we're getting hurt by competition here, what do you say to them?
Well, I think overall we just need to look at who are our good trading partners, and we know who they are, and we know the ones that are not, the ones that dump, and the ones that cause us a problem. And I think that's what we have to do, is we have to surgically target them and make sure that they understand that we're not going to tolerate that.
That's why the president might have more support on this next trade measure, which looks like it'll be related to China. Congressman Black, thank you very much. Good to see you today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
On DACA as well, of course.